So today I'm out on the road, but not before we talk about this. Ask yourself these questions if you're unsure about your relationship. Jessica OS here. So yeah, let's jump into it. I mean, sometimes you find yourself in the middle of a relationship and you're like at a relationship crossroad, right? You don't know whether to proceed, you don't know whether to just take a couple of steps back to reassess or completely walk away. And ever so often it happens to the best of us, because that's life. Life throws you curveballs. Life shows you all sorts of things that you cannot possibly anticipate. And when you are met with such things, it can be tough processing it all by yourself. So this video will hopefully share a couple of questions that you need to ask yourself if you're unsure about your relationship, to help you come to that decision of what to do next. So let's jump into it. First and foremost, I want to talk about you doing some introspection, okay? This relationship you find yourself in, does it allow you to be yourself all the time? Or is your partner trying to change you? You don't want to be with someone who's constantly trying to change you, basically, is what I'm trying to say, right? Yes, certainly, change is good for the better. If there are some bad behaviors and or negative, personalities or characteristics about yourself, then yeah, by all means, you should be able to come to the point where you realize, hey, you know what? Yeah, this isn't helping me much. I need to change my thought process to become this better person. Then yeah, by all means, seek help from people that you love, because sometimes they will see things that you don't, right? However, if this person has a certain way they want you to be, right? And if you're not this person, they're constantly on your tits about, oh, well, maybe the perfect guy has to be doing this, opening doors for me, giving me flowers, taking care of of all my needs 24/7. And know that this is not something you'll be able to do not go ahead, right? You should be able to be yourself around this person and not walk on eggshells all the time. The second question I believe that you need to ask yourself is, are you happy more often than you're unhappy in the relationship? And as much as happiness doesn't or shouldn't depend on other people, and you must create your own happiness, the person you're with should also assist with a good environment, right? For you to be able to thrive. You cannot be in a relationship with someone who's always nagging, always negative, never has anything good to say. When they show up in your life, they make you sad, because they're always criticizing something you do or say. You're never good enough. You can't quite match up and stuff like that, right? If you get to that point where you feel like you're more upset or sad, then you need to reconsider, because happiness is an important factor when it comes to just how long relationships can last. The third question you want to ask is, do you trust your partner? Do you trust them? Trust is an integral part. In fact, it's the foundation on which every relationship is built. If your partner is someone who tells you, hey, I'm going to be hanging out with friends today, I'm going to be gone for a couple of hours, or I'm going out of town and I need to turn off my phone because reception's going to be spotty. When you ask her, well, where are you going? She can't even tell you. Or who are you going with? She doesn't want to tell you. If this is the kind of person that you're with, then it doesn't take rocket science to know that you have trust issues, basically. Trust is important. You can't go far in a relationship without trust, because you cannot monitor someone 24/7. You cannot be their shadow. And even shadows disappear in the darkness. You know what I mean? Next question you need to ask, do you feel supported in pursuing your personal goals and interests? Now, there are people who find themselves in relationships where you constantly realize that you're helping them build their dreams, and yet they do nothing for you. Whenever you raise that you want to do what you want to do, or whatever you say that you want to do something, they do not give you that support. They tell you that you can't do it. They tell you that, well, I'm doing this for now and we need to do my dream and then we can focus on yours later. And later or tomorrow never comes. This is not someone who is going to be able to support you adequately in the future. and I say you want to reconsider things. Does this person support your dreams? Are they interested in what you're interested in? You don't have to have the same goals and hobbies, but at least they should be supportive. If they don't like football or soccer, they should be able to still, come with you ever so often to a football game. That's what it's about. That's what relationships are about, sacrifice. So if you find yourself always being the one sacrificing for them, that's a red flag. Question number 5. Do we handle disagreements and conflicts constructively? It's not about what happens when everything is going well. It's what happens when everything is going downhill, so to speak. It's not how she behaves when she's so in love with you because you gave her a new gift. It's how she behaves when things are not going well, when she's really, really mad, how she resolves these conflicts, and just generally embraces you with all your flaws, because when you're with a partner who constantly disrespects you when they're mad, who says hurtful things to you when they're mad, and comes back to tell you, look, I only said this because you made me mad, and I'm sorry, and you know how I get. It's not an excuse, because words spoken can never be taken back. How do they handle these conflicts that come up in your relationship? It matters. It's important. Are they people who can just forget about you, be aloof until you reach out? Do you find yourself always being the one who apologizes? These are things you need to think through before you take your relationships to the next level. So if you're unsure, you're definitely unsure for good reason. That is a red flag. The next question you want to ask yourself is, are you staying in this relationship out of convenience or fear of being alone? Because there are a lot of people who honestly are terrified of being by themselves, do not enjoy their own company, think they're going to die alone, die single, and so would rather settle for very bad, unfulfilling relationships and be in them. Certainly that's not the way to live. Okay, you want people who will build you up. You want people who can lift you up when you're down. You want people who support you in, through good and through bad. Not only when things are better and great, but when the going gets tough. That's the kind of person you need in your corner. Are they staying with you because you provide certain things that they wouldn't have gotten if they weren't in your life? For instance, maybe in a case where maybe your woman's moved into your house, you're paying all the rent, all the bills, all the utilities, all the food. I mean, she's virtually not lifting a finger. Question you should be asking yourself is, when I cannot do these things anymore, is she going to be there? Or will she disappear as fast as my resources do? Right? It's a critical question. Don't take it for granted. Are you staying in the relationship out of convenience? Maybe it's you're gaining something or benefiting something from her. So it's purely what you can get out of it, and not necessarily because you want to be with this person. And that's not a relationship that you should encourage. The next important question I want you to ask yourself is, does this relationship affect my mental and emotional health? Right? Gaslighting is real. Emotional abuse is a thing. If you're someone who's always putting you down, making you feel like you will never amount to anything without them, that's a dangerous person to be with, because they are trying to break you down in all ways, shapes, and forms, so that you will completely cling to them and feel like if you were to leave them, you will never be able to survive. This is not a person you want to be with. You want to be with that guy, that woman, that individual who encourages you no matter what, who's there for you, who's able to tell you something that can get you out of a bad mood. You don't want someone who makes you feel more stressed or anxious when you're going through it. You want this person to be your safe haven. You want this person to be, well, basically that person who just makes you feel okay when you're having a bad day, not contributing to your sadness, right? So certainly that's an important question to ask yourself. And the final question I want you to ask yourself is, what is your gut feeling when you think about this person? What does your intuition tell you when you think about the future? Do you see them in your future? Is this a guy or a lady who's going to support you? Is this a guy or a lady who's going to uplift you? Is this a guy or lady who's going to respect you? Sometimes I believe that our gut feelings are small voices from God, you know, trying to tell us, hey, you know, don't go here, red flag, turn this corner, don't go this way, don't accept this, you know. What is your gut feeling really saying to you about the relationship? A good percentage of the time, your gut feeling is never wrong. Answer these questions honestly, and you'll be able to come to a conclusion as to whether you should proceed with this relationship or not. I hope that you find this video beneficial and helpful. If you did, smash that like button. Don't forget to subscribe and turn on all notifications. I'll catch you in the next video for sure. Jessica OS here. Cheers.